Let's see. Let's see. It's connecting right now. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's again Monday, June 3rd. We are beginning of June now, 2024. I hope everyone's doing well, and we do trust that you always are exciting and looking forward to this session. Today is Monday, like I said, June 3rd. Michael and I are getting together again, are talking about Onpassive. So let's get it started. Michael, would you please say hello to everyone?
Well, hello everyone. Happy Monday to all of you in On Passive Land and elsewhere. Today is a fantastic day, and it's
Oh,
great to be alive, Julie.
yes, yes, it's great to be alive and it's great to be here. Yesterday I watched an old video of Mr. Mufareh. He's confessed on how much he loves people, right? Just simply, I just love people. And it really takes me to think about the journey, what we all have been through in the past years, how much love that we receive in our own community. But the love that I see displays the most is the love from our CEO, Mr. Ashmofara, and the team. And so today, we're bringing up the topic on passive is blowing our mind, but it all started with the love. So we could start our conversation today, Michael, to talk about how much love and how special we are. And then at the end, toward at the end, people will probably see how is it that on passive is blowing our mind in so many directions. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. That's a great place to start. When you think about people's conditions, people's situations, etc., love is often missing. Right?
Yeah.
It's missing. We see it in homes. Maybe they don't have mother, father. Maybe they have don't have parents altogether. Maybe they have parents, but they were never told they were loved. And you know what I mean. Just in society in general, we just see how love is just missing. People at each other's throats, people suing this one, suing that, just craziness that goes on in the world today. So love is missing, Julie. So to me, you have people who actually go looking for love in the wrong places. I mean, you have that as well. And that just illustrates the point that love is missing in our society today. So when we find it, Julie, and when we find real love, especially from a business standpoint, when you can find a company whereby the CEO, the person with the mission, the vision, and they express not just in words but in deed. Right? We see the action that has been taken. We see just the idea of wanting to put together a business such as this. You can see the love, you can experience the love, you can feel the love. And so that's a great place to start because that's exactly how Unpassive started with a labor of love.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about love, it takes me to my daughter. Every time when we come home, as soon as I turn off the engine, right, she'll lean over and she said, "Hug, hug, I want a hug." Like she literally hugged me. And if I was in the middle of something, listening to something, she would say, "Oh, drop that, mommy. Give me a hug, like a real hug, like love." And then every time, and she reminded me every single day to love more, is every time when she say, "Mom, I love you," and if I said love you, said, "Mom, that's not true, that's not right. You have to say I love you." Because love you, it just, I mean, like, it comes with, I have goosebumps talking about it. It's because love come in a way where there's actions that come with that, all your heart that actually comes with it. And what I'm seeing here, the love that we're talking about in on passive, it really encompasses with the empathy. We're talking about the empathy. Mr. Ashmofara empathized for, I would say, the whole entire humanity. No matter where you are, an employee, you are a business owner, you are network marketer. It doesn't matter how much we are doing it. It encompasses that empathy. right? And then also the compassion that I see in our unpassive family here is the love of what we do. We have to love and trust, and we have to love what we do in order for us to actually display that and show that to other people. And also, this love that I'm also seeing is that we're genuinely care for people. Our team, our executive team, our entire tech team really care for the people, and that care and that genuine love is actually going through and what they are doing through that the products that they are developing. And it's really important for all of us to actually recognize that. Do you see the same, Michael?
Yeah, of course, Julie, right? I mean, it's all around us, right? It's all around us. You know, think of OCONNECT. Think of when we first received OCONNECT. Think of, you know, all the time we've had to play with it, to use it, you know, all of that. Just think about that, right? On the company's dime, right? It's just everything, Julie, right? The fact that, you know, comes what may, doesn't matter what obstacles, doesn't matter what hurdles, you know, it doesn't matter what comes in front of the company, they continue to press on, continue to press forward, because our CEO says, "Do it or die," you know. And I believe he actually believes that, you know, like he actually means it. Like it's not just, well, let me just say because it sounds good. Uh, I've never heard any other CEO make a statement such as that, right? And he's standing by it, you know. So we see that. We see that, as you said, within the staff. You know, people that are coming to OnPassive, you know, have other jobs, but they choose to come here based upon the mission, vision that this company has. They want to be a part of something that is great, right? They want to be a part of something that's above themselves, right? So we see that labor of love, Julie. We see it with founders, right? Brand ambassadors, right? When we, you know, cheer on each other, when we attend, you know, various webinars, and you know, when we give of our time to help, you know, where we can, and all these things, without getting paid for it, Julie. There's a difference. You know, when somebody's paying you to do something, you know, that's different. There may not be no love there. You're just doing it because you're being compensated. But when you're actually taking time out of your schedule, you know, to help others, and there's no compensation for that, you're just doing it because you generally care about people and you want to see people succeed. So when you have that, Julie, then you know it's coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of love, and we have a lot of that. Right? We have a lot of that. Look at all the different webinars that's being done on a daily basis around the world, right? People don't have to be doing it. It's a choice, right? They choose to do it, you know, and that just speak again of the love that is interconnected throughout our business, right? I've never seen that in another company. I've been in other companies, Julie, where, you know, I could say, well, yeah, you know, the founders, them, the executive team, you know, they care about people, etc., but not to this degree. No way, right? Not to this degree. When we're talking from top to bottom, where everyone is included in everything, and this is a place where you just have to be in to win. Like it just doesn't come like that, and it doesn't get any better than OnPassive. It really doesn't, because this company is going to do some great things, Julie, and that's what we're saying. OnPassive, it's going to blow some people's mind. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely, Michael. And if you are currently listening to this, you're actually more than welcome to put it on the chat. Do you see yourself grow into that, in that department, in that love and connections? We spent years together, right? And within that time that we've been spending together, we really truly fostering that connections, that support from each other. We show up when there's a challenge, right? And we celebrate the triumphant when it's happened. I mean, look at that. When someone, it's in the community that hurts or needed an extra prayers or needed an extra bush push, we always there. I mean, I've seen there's people starting prayer chain for people that certainly go through some kind of illness
Mhm.
or surgery. We're always there. And when the product is launching, we celebrate each other, we're there for each other. And so there has to be a love connections in this whole entire relationship to humanity. And really, if you are actually experiencing this in on passive, you may want to put it on the comment and say, what kind of love have you experienced and where is that coming from? It's all coming from the love of what Mr. Ashmafar is talking about. I just love humanity. I just want humanity to be better. I just love people. And because I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I have the capability to do it, and I'm going to do it or die, right? So that's a reason why we see how Unpassive is truly a connections for humanity around the world with that love chain, or whatever you call that love connections. And that's how I see it, Michael.
Well, Julie, some people can't understand it. Oh, what's this thing called on passive? Like, what are they doing? What's going on over there? And they just don't get it, right? But those who are in, those who have been there and seen the inner works, seeing everything coming together, as I said, the relationships, bonding with people, you've come into on passive, and you now actually created a relationship with others that you never, like, you didn't know them before. Like, I didn't know you before, Julie, before on passive. You know what I mean? And yet now you've become a close, family friend, that is closer than a lot of people I knew for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's that type of thing. It's a short window, but yet we spend so much time together that it's like we've known each other for 20, 30 years, right? Like, that's what OnPassive is doing. It's creating bonds, bonds that will last a lifetime. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, here we are today, and then tomorrow we just disappear, and we don't see each other or talk to each other. No, right? Bonds are being created where people will continue, to reach out to each other, support each other, talk to each other, for years to come. And that's a great thing, Julie. When we think about what's happening within the company itself, and then when we look at what we're used to, whether it's your employer, right, where your job, right, wherever you work, whether it's that scenario or whether it's another business that you're a part of, when you look at that, right, and then look at what's happening, in on passive, there is a huge difference. Like, it's just night and day. You know what I mean? Like, my kids, them, they understand on passive. They never understood or was a part of anything that I was doing before. You know what I mean? They just know, yeah, that's daddy is busy doing whatever he does, right? But here they know on passive, right? And they know what it's all about. My daughter, my youngest one, had some really great experience in on passive thus far, and she never experienced that outside of on passive, right? So there's some things happening inside here, Julie, that can only be explained by love. I know the good book says God is love. So if you kind of connect the dots and put it all together, there's something that's happening inside on passive that's beyond oneself. There's no doubt about that. So there's that spiritual aspect that comes into play. But at the end of the day, we care about people, right? You care about people. I care about people. The folks that are listening to us right now, that are on, with us right now, right? They care about people. They're here for a reason, right? We don't come here, Julie, and we're giving updates, right? That's not what we do. We don't come here and say, okay, this is what happened, blah, blah. That's not what we do. We come here, we're sharing our conversations, and people are listening and tuning into that, and hopefully they glean something from it, and walk away feeling, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? And so it's a beautiful thing, because they don't have to be here. They don't have to come. They don't have to listen, right? They don't have to click that button, Julie, but they do. Why? You know what I mean? Again, here comes the love factor, and that is great to see, especially when it comes to business. Business is usually cutthroat. Business is usually me against you. I'm competing against you. Here in OnPassive, there's no need for competition. We're all going to win. We're all going to succeed, right? So why do I need to compete against you, right? It's in my best interest to help you, right? And to help build you up, not bring you down. And so it's completely different. It's a much different experience, even for myself, being an OnPassive than anything else that I've done before. And that's why I have so much confidence in it, Julie, because it's different. It's not the same. You know what I mean? And so that means the results will be different, right? And that's great to see, because we know what the results are in other companies. We know what the results are out there in the marketplace. People losing, 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 losing. Here in OnPassive, there is no losing. There is no failing. It's only good news. It's only success. And who's going to win? All of us, Julie. And that is love. Only love can make that happen, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. Sometimes we're sitting here and we're talking about it. We really have to really look back and say during the pandemic, I mean, how do we all got through that? Because of Onpassive, right? We get together, we have struggles, but however we get through that, the ultimate about what we've done together, all of us together, it's that love enrich people's life, right? Love strengthen the communities, and it also remind us it's in the beauty, right? The beauty and the significance about humans connections. Because Michael, imagine if you have no one, you are not connecting to anyone in your life. How long do you last? I don't believe you last. Before on passive, all we can think is how are we going to get through our life? But when on passive comes and the time that we are spending together, the connections that we get together, just think about this. When we're all getting together, we're coming from totally different background, different ethnicity, different cultures, different everything. But how do we able to get connecting together? It's because of love. And I believe each and every one of us have our own love and heart that we've cultivated ourselves in our life, but we not only keep that in our life, but we actually share that with the community of people we get together. And if we don't have that, Michael, when we get together in a webinars or in a meeting, I don't think we have that connection at all, right? I don't see we have that at all. And so it's really important because we see that because of the love and unpassive, the compassion that we have for each other. I believe unpassive will continue to touch many others people in life, because if we don't have that love, we don't act it out with love. um just my thought.
well, well, I mean, if all what we're saying, Julie,
Yeah.
right, is that on passive will blow your mind. When it's you thinking about your experience since you've been in, like that's what it's all about.
Mhm.
If you think about your experience, right? You join company A, you spend X amount of dollars, and usually every month you're spending money, spending money, spending money, spending money. And at the end of it, you didn't make any money or you made very little of it, right? That can be a good experience. You know what I mean? Right? And that comes from what? It comes from the model, right? It's really the model as to why people fail, right? It's not the person themselves, right? It's the model, right? The model's asking you to do something that you just can't do.
Mhm.
The model is asking you to do something where you may not have any experience in doing. You may never have been successful before in doing it. Think about this. You join a company and they tell you, okay, hey, you know what? You need to go out there and share this business. You need to go out there and sell the products, okay? And then you're going to be successful. And you try that and it didn't work, okay? So now you go join company B, but they're telling you to do the exact same thing. The products may be different, the compensation may be different. You understand? But it's still the same thing that they're telling you to do, right? In order for you to make money, you need to do the same thing as you did in the last company. Now, how does that make sense, Julie? How does that make sense, right? So, yes, there are some people who can do that, but very little, very few can actually do that. From a percentage standpoint, we're talking about the majority of people, they just can't do that, Julie, because as we've said so many times before, it's not their cup of tea. You know what I mean? That person is a nurse. What does nurse know about selling, right? Unless they happen to have a job within the nursing field, not necessarily as a nurse, but within the nursing field, whereby they're selling maybe medical supplies, etc. Right? And even then, they're probably not good at that either, Julie. Right? Most salespeople are not good at selling. Right? It's a fact. Right? So what we're talking about is you have to have something that is different. If you want to have the majority, if not everybody successful, then you have to come with something totally different, right? And that's what we see in OnPassive. So when people start to get that, Julie, they'll realize that, wow, this is really, really amazing. This is an incredible opportunity, an incredible business whereby I'm going to succeed no matter how good I am at those two things that I've just mentioned, right? It doesn't depend on that in order for me to be able to succeed, right? Because again, we've talked about the automation and so on, right? So it's not that that does not need to be done, it just doesn't need to be done by you personally, right? That's the difference. You still have to have sales, right?
Yeah.
You still have to have a customer base. You still have to have all of that in order to have a successful business. But how do you go about generating those customers? How do you go about generating those sales? That's the difference, right? And so going back to on passive, blowing people's mind, right? If you start to understand how it all works, understand how it all comes together, understand how is it that you're able to win. How will you win? What has to transpire in order for that to happen? When you start to think about that and start to connect the dots and see that, wow, you know what? This is different. This is refreshing. That man, oh, it does not require my sales skills because they're nil, they're zero. You know what I mean? Right? So when people start to think like that, then they start to get it, Julie, and realize that, man, this really is a labor of love because on passive does not have to do it this way. They can be just like everybody else. They can be just like everybody else, Julie, and say, hey, you know what? Yep, we got great products. We got great compensation. Go out there and sell your hearts out. Go out there and share this business with other people so they can become affiliates and so on and so forth. Right. And so now you're just like everybody else. Okay.
Mhm.
But you have to be able to have something that's going to make a difference. You have to have something. When we talk about uplifting humanity, Julie, when we talk about being able to bless so many people around the world, right? It just can't be the same old, same old. It can't be the same business that you joined a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years. It just can't be the same. We're in a different climate now, and so many people are in need. How do you help them? How do you help them? You help them, Julie, by putting something together that you can use technology to make it all happen. And that's exactly what we have. That's what we have in On Passive.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have watched the last of the previous episode that we did last week, we were talking about how Unpassive is crushing it. And there are so many points we brought it up. We talk about what the clear vision and the strategies that Unpassive has. We're talking about the strong leadership in Unpassive. We're talking about how Unpassive is truly focusing on the customers, right? Customer focus. We're talking about the innovation and the adaptability of on passive on what they're doing, creating the product. We're talking about the quality of the products and the services. We're talking about what else? The effectiveness in terms of the marketing and on passive. We're talking about how on passive is financially, like fund it owns projects that they're doing. How we're talking about the talented of our team inside of on passive, and how we're talking about the operational efficiency and on passive. We're talking about the risk management. We're talking about a lot of points that we bring it up last week, how on passive is crushing it. And the truth of it is, Michael, we didn't have to do any of that. We didn't need to have that talent to do that. On passive is doing that for us, and all we need is plug ourselves into that mechanism, machine, that whole entire on passive ecosystem. For us to do that, we didn't need to spend money to hire a tech team. We didn't need to a lot of that. And it really take me to the point when we are driving a car. There's a dashboard, the big windshield in front of us. It's big. What does it do? It's helping us to see the road in front of us. But within that dashboard, we see that little tiny mirror, right? The, what do you call it? For us to see the back,
Rear
for us
view.
to see the rear, yeah, the rear view mirror, and the two on the side is for us to see that. We should look at ourselves. The way that we going in our life is we need to look forward. We need to move forward. Whatever that it is in the back that we have experienced, it should stay as a reference for us to be in the back. It's there. It's there. It's, we already went past it. We need to look at that as a reference. However, we do need to move forward. We need to see, because that windshield in the very front, the dashboard, It's huge. It's not tiny. Therefore, we have to move forward. And moving forward is be able to recognize the love, the special, how special we are being in unpassive, because unpassive has done it all for us. All we got to do is plug ourselves into that machine, plug ourselves into that ecosystem for us to be able to move forward, for us to be able to make all our dreams become possible, right? That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it, Julie. Right. But a key ingredient, though, a key ingredient is patience. Right.
Yes.
Patience is so crucial when it comes to success. When you think of, if you went to someone and you said, "Listen, okay, if you stay with me, right, stay with me, okay, we're going to lock arms together, and it's going to take us 10 years to be successful. 10 years, and we're going to be millionaires and all this fancy stuff." And the reality is very few people will stay the course. Very few, right? Just look at what people do from a saving standpoint, right? Just individuals, right? How much money they save and for how long have they actually saved that money, right? The stats would blow your mind as far as how many people could actually save money every year for 20 years straight. Okay, it's very difficult for people to do that, Julie. Right? There's some simple things that people can do in order to obtain wealth, but people don't have patience. What people want is now, especially in these last years, Julie. People want now, 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 now. I know this business is bad, and I know it's probably gonna fail, but I can probably get in right now and I probably make some quick money and then I'll be out before it fails. Like that's the mindset that people have. And I'm saying, well, first of all, you're not a mind reader. You don't know when that business is going to fail. So when you get in, it may actually fail before you even got your money back out. But people will jump into stuff like that, though, Julie, right? They just jump into it. And I'm saying to myself, oh, wow, that's crazy, right? As opposed to being with a company that tells you it's a done deal. Being with a company that says, just follow us. Just follow us. Follow us and see what we're doing. We're going to share with you. You're going to see it for yourself. You'll be able to log in and you'll be able to experience and test and all these things with the products and so on, right? So you know that things are happening, right?
Yeah.
And just let the company do all the heavy lifting. Let them do what needs to be done. Because when it's all done, when it's all come together, Julie, your mind is going to be blown. It's going to be better than what you were thinking. You understand? Better. So if you were thinking this, right, it's going to be even better than whatever it is that you were thinking. Like, I don't think people grasp that, Julie. You know what I mean? I don't think they grasp that. To know that whatever your thoughts may have been, you jumped into Onpassive, you're all excited. So whatever your thoughts were, it's going to be even better than that, right? That to me,
Millions time better.
that to me is mind blowing. Like it really is, right? And
Yeah.
so people have to be able to look, Julie, and understand how business work, understand what it takes to go out there and actually produce, right? Most people are not producers. You know what I mean? They're just not, right? Most people are employees. So they come, the job says this is what's required. And so you do it, you're done, and you get paid for your time. But Julie, your time is limited. Even if you could work 24 hours a day, Julie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still only 24 hours that you can do. You
Exactly.
can't go beyond 24 hours, right? This is why people want and should become business owners, because now as a business owner, I can multiply my time, right? That's why people create companies, right? Because now they can have employees, right? When they have employees, they're not taking your 8 hours and your 8 hours and your 8 hours and so on, right? If a company has 10 employees, Julie, and each of them are working 8 hours, so now the company has 80 hours of working power, right? As opposed to just the owner doing their 8 hours. You understand?
Right.
That's the power of owning a business, right? And so what are we doing? We're owning business. This is a business for us, Julie. You own it. Okay. You own your own passive business. You don't own on passive, but you own your own passive business, right? There's a difference. Okay. And so that's going to give you the ability to leverage. It's going to give you the ability to multiply, right? It's going to give you the ability to have customers upon customers upon customers, right? In abundance over time, right? Over time, right? If people just, again, just understand the flow, understand how it all works, understand what comes first, what comes next, and so on, just follow that. You will be blown away as to what this company can do, not just for you, not just your family, but your entire community. If you're someone who wants to reach out and help other people, where do you get the resource from to help those people?
Yeah.
Where do you find the time to help those people? You know what I mean? But having a business that can work for you 24/7, having a business that can work for you while you're away, while you're, having free time with your family, spending quality time, you know, having leisure time, all these things, Julie, right? Think of all that time that you have now to go do what you actually want, right? Someone asked before, what's my passion? And I said my family. And I stand by that, Julie. I'm
Mhm.
very passionate about helping my family in every single way that you can think of, right? And that's why I drive the hours that I drive and spend the time. And sometimes you don't see me on webinars and all this other stuff because I'm usually with my family to take someone somewhere and so on and so forth, right?
Mhm.
That's what I do because I believe in helping them as much as possible by giving them that massive head start, Julie. Not just a little head start in life, but a massive one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're able to see it. My wife and I are able to see, what's been going on based upon the decision that we've made to put all this effort into our children, them, right? In their academics, in their activities, all of that stuff, right? And that's the way I look at OnPassive. I
Mhm.
look at OnPassive for our CEO, Ash Mufareh, that he's putting all his time and effort into this company, Julie, not for himself and not for his family, but for everyone, over 200 countries around the world. And then we come on board and we says, you know what? We think that's a great thing. We want to lock arms with you. We want to do the exact same thing. So we're putting in hours as well, Julie, right? To make this company the best company there is, to ensure that every single person that we've invited into the company will succeed no matter what. It is a done deal, Julie. It is done. And when people fully grasp that, that's how it's going to blow their mind. They're going to say, wow, somebody actually did this for me? Because you're not doing it for yourself, right? You're not doing it for yourself because if you were doing it for yourself, you would already failed, just like everything else. But someone else is doing it. Someone else is putting it together, putting all the pieces together, making it all work the way it should, right? What do you know about artificial intelligence? What do you know about that technology? You know what I mean? How do you know how to infuse that into products to make products work, right? To maximize its true potential. You understand?
Mhm.
Most of us don't. We're clueless, right? But yet we come into this company and this company is doing all these things, making us look like we're big executives, making us look like we're, tech pros and so on and so forth. You understand?
Yeah.
It is amazing, Julie. And I'm telling you, people will be blown away when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Just in time, Julie, in time.
Absolutely. And what you're talking about, and what is, like you talk about with your family, love comes first. If you didn't have the love to your family, you wouldn't do what you do. If Ash Mofara didn't have the love for humanity, for people, right, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. He probably just want to focus on his own family, right? But what did he do? He opened it out to everyone around the world. Just imagine if there's a millions, which we're already there, if there's a billions of people who truly love what they are doing, using what On Passive is creating, imagine that billions of people go out there and continue to spread the love that they are loving on what they're doing. Imagine the amount of people will be part of On Passive. Just that. I mean, I don't, I mean, I would dream to have the entire 8 billion people around the world to be part of On Passive. Is that possible? I believe it is possible, but it will take time, right? It will take time. It will take time. And that's probably why I believe the fact that, maybe 100 years from now, there won't be conflicts between countries, between people. Love has taken over. And is that possible? We probably won't live long enough to see it, Michael, but I do believe that is possible. And it takes us, it takes the people that understand to actually spread that love around. And that's exactly what I told my, my Vietnamese group of people. I said, imagine you are the top 1% of people can make a difference in your country, right? Top 1%. I mean, if you were putting together the amount of people in Vietnam and the amount of people that understood unpassive, there's just less than 1% of the people. But if that one less than 1% of the people understand and love what they're doing and actually love humanity just a little bit like as Mufareh does, I believe they make a big difference in their entire country. What about people in India, people in Bangladesh? But just really think about it. Yeah, we are millions, a million brand ambassadors, but if you are really focusing on each country that you are in, will you be the people that actually put your feet down there and said, I love my country, I love my people, and I'm going to do this and this to make a difference in the people that in the country that I'm living in? That is a question I believe each and every one of us need to actually see it and need to actually asking ourselves that question. Are we the people that actually going to do that? Or like you said, when people have money, the saving, the difference. Oh, there's so much to talk about.
it's it's you're not going to have that, Julie. You're always going to have conflict. Okay, you're always going to have conflict, unfortunately. But when you think about it, though, most people do not love what they do. They don't. Right? Go survey. Yourself. Ask yourself that question. Go talk to family members. Go talk to your neighbors. Most people do not love. Doesn't matter what the job is. They could have the best paying job in the world, right? And they may not love that job, right? But they do it based upon the income that they can achieve. Some people pick their occupation, their career, based upon how much can I make, as opposed to is it something that I'm really gonna love doing, right? For the rest of my life. And so, you have someone say, well, I'm going to be an engineer. Why? Well, engineering is a good paying job. Okay, but do you love what it takes to be an engineer? Do you love what you would be doing as an engineer? Like, is that something? Can you see yourself doing that every day, for 40 years? Like, can you see yourself doing that? And remember now, a lot of people change jobs. There's a reason why they're changing them, Julie. A lot of people change careers, right? And so on, but can you imagine, though? Can you imagine now you're put in a position whereby, it's now becomes a choice, right? You know, I have a choice. I can actually go out there and just focus on whatever it is that makes me happy, whatever it is that makes me want to get up in the mornings, right? Whatever it is that, gets me through my day. I can just focus on that. I don't have to worry about the other stuff that I don't like doing, you know? And just, Julia, for me, I don't like cutting grass. So you know what I do? I pay somebody to do it. You understand? Because I don't like cutting it, right? It's not because I can't do it, right? I don't like shoveling snow. So I pay someone to go shovel the snow. You understand? You want to be in a position where you just focus on what it is that you love to do. If you don't love doing something, but it needs to be done, no problem. You just pay someone to go do it, right? And then you just focus on what it is that you love to do. OnPassive will give people choices, Julie. OnPassive will be able to help people make that decision to say, you know what? This is what I really want to be doing. This is what I enjoy doing. This is what makes me happy. And I want to do this for the rest of my life. Okay. And now you can, because you have a business called OnPassive, right? That's a difference maker, right? That is a difference maker. Not just have a business, but it's something that you can count on, Julie, right? Not something that's here today, gone tomorrow. So many people have made plans. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to that. All this fancy stuff, and then the company disappears and it's like, oh, back to square one. And sometimes you're not even back to square one. You're below square one, Julie, because you're in the hole. You know what I mean? You've lost some money along the way. So now you're in deficit, right? But OnPassive will give people choices, though. And it's good to have choices.
Yeah.
God gives us choice in everything that we do, right? It's good to have choices, Julie. And so here we are deciding to make that choice to stay, right? Make that choice to join, make that choice to lock arms, make that choice to do whatever we can to make sure other people will win. Again, it's a choice. We don't have to. We can just be off on our own as well. Forget everybody else. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. So, right? Our CEO could have said, well, you know what? Me and my family, we're good. So why put our neck on the line? Why put our reputation on the line? Why do all of this? Why? To people who may be ungrateful, to people who, are short-sighted, to people who just want quick fix. You know what I mean? As opposed to, no, let's come together and let's make a difference in the world. Let's build something that's going to stand the test of time, that long after we're gone is still here for other people to benefit from it. That's what this is about. That's called leaving a legacy, Julie, right? I want to have a legacy for my family. When I'm gone and they're still here, I want them to still be functioning, benefiting, enjoying life. Absolutely, right? And for their children and so on and so forth, right? Other people have done it, but it's just a few who've done that. Okay, it doesn't have to be a few, Julie. There's no shortage, of wealth on this planet. There just isn't. It's just you have the wrong people managing the wealth, unfortunately, right? Now we could be the ones, right? We could be the ones that's in a position to be able to do something that's going to empower other people, that's going to lift people up, that's going to help people get out of the rut that they find themselves in. And in turn, help as many as they can, Julie, because that's how you create a movement, right? You start with a few. So the few, this 1.4 that you talk about, 1.4 million, that's a few. In the big picture, right? That number is a small number, but then things will grow, things will mushroom, right? Because can you imagine 1.4 million and each of them have, or each account holder have 1,000 customers, right? Just think about that. All of a sudden now you have 1,000 times 1.4 million, that's 1.4 billion customers, right? Customers, not talking about affiliates. We're talking about customers, people utilizing a variety of products. Not all using one product, but a variety. Some are using this, some using that, some using two, some using three products, etc. Think about that, because I can see it, Julie. If Facebook can have over 3 billion customers,
Mhm.
right? Why not? Why not us? Why not? Right? You understand? So that's how I think, and that's how I look at this business. I see the full possibilities because everything that we've talked about, the various products, them, Julie, there's so many people out there that are buying these things. People are buying domain names. People are, using bulk mailers. People are, using Zoom and GoToWebinars and all these Skype and all these things, right? People are out there using these things. Companies have some sort of human resource management system, and the list goes on and on. Online learning is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. My daughter went through her last year of university and she had one in class course, right? And her other 5 courses were all online,
Yeah.
right? Online. You know what I mean? So 5 out of 6 courses were online just in that last year alone. We're not talking about COVID year. We're talking about this year, Julie, right? 2023, 2024 school year, right? So that's becoming more and more and more prevalent out there in the marketplace, whereby these schools, these universities, that the norm was, no, you come and you're sitting down in your class and you're in 300, students or whatever, right? No, nope. Now, right? It's everybody just stay home, go behind a computer, log on, and you're good to go. Think of how many more students they can service, Julie. Think about that number, right? When you're in a physical classroom, there's only so many that can hold in that room. There's only so many. But now, when you make it digital, when you make it online, that number is endless, pretty much, right? So, we know what the future is, and we see where our company is going, and we see the markets that we're involved in, Julie, right? And then there's more beyond that. There's more beyond that. And that's part of what we're saying is going to blow your mind. When people see the fullness, when they see the fullness of what Onpassive has to offer to the world, people are going to be blown away by it because they're like, wow, really? A company decided to do this and do it this way? Do it this? Because the way that is done is important. It's important. right? And so when people start to see all of that unfold before their eyes, Julie, they will be blown away. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. Um, I want to bring up this point is, and it's so funny that you brought up Facebook, and I have to address this, right? Um, well, when you're really looking at Facebook, how many people you had? Did you say trillions people or
It's 3 billion when you include WhatsApp and Instagram. When you put it all together, it doesn't mean they're all active, but when you put it all together, it's over 3 billion
about three
users.
billions people? Okay, and I mean, one of the most important part when you do have a business, and I look at Facebook, that's a business of whoever that owns it, right? Are they really customer focused, right? Are they, what are they doing to drive, to address the needs of their customer? Are they really doing to ensure the satisfaction of their customer, right? Are they doing the things that help their customer? I mean, even though we use the account for free, but looking at all the people that does the marketing, pay for advertisement, are they really have the success rate in Facebook? And Facebook has 3 billion people in it. So, Raul, really think about it. Think about the customer focus. When you're doing something, place an ad on Facebook, how much money do you actually pay for that ad? And what is the successful rate that Facebook brings to you? But if you look at everything that we are seeing in on passive, every values that we bring on the table to discuss about, do we see the successful rate in on passive? I do. Very, very high. Do I spend thousands arm I mean, do I have to spend an arm and a leg to actually get that successful rate? Um, that's just that part, Michael, is so different. On passive is focusing on their customer, their needs, right? And that is really, that's just that point only really blow my mind.
Yeah, indeed. When you when you think of what those who are successful online, when you think of the amount of money they spend in order to be successful, it's a lot of money, Julie. It's more money than most people can afford, right? That's why it's a handful of people that actually get the success, because you have to be able to drive massive amounts of traffic to whatever your offer is, whatever your business, product, service, whatever. You have to be able to do so, right? And so it goes back to the haves versus the have-nots,
Mhm.
right? The people who have the big bucks can spend 100,000, 200,000, $300,000 on advertising and marketing, Julie. Uh, the average person can't do that, right? They just can't, right? And so you wonder when you're spending, $20 a month or $40 a month, and then you're not getting the success you're looking for. You wonder why. Well, your advertising budget just isn't big enough,
Mhm.
right? That's usually what it is. Because even if I have something that's bad, Julie, right? My product is terrible. People will buy it if I put enough people in front of it, right? Somebody will buy it. You know what I mean? Because I know I've bought bad products before, right? So if you put enough people in front of it, people will buy it. Whether they stay with you, whether they become repeat customers, etc., that's a different story. But people will buy. So it really just comes down to being able to drive enough traffic, and then when you become wiser, you're able to now streamline your traffic so that's only relevant or targeted traffic that's looking at whatever it is that you're offering, right?
Yeah.
Then your numbers, improve. Your efficiency becomes better, right? So we know that in on passive, it's about value. It's value, value, value. It's a value-driven company. There's no doubt about that. And so therefore, people will see the results that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Not just those who are in on passive itself, but those outside as customers that will just use the products for whatever it is that they have going on. They will see the benefit, and so therefore they will be repeat customers, etc.
Right. And we're talking about traffic. I wanted to bring up this point really quick, and then we're just gonna leave that point for everybody to think about. Um, what if there is a company that has products, any kind of products, that come in and use the product or the platform, one of the platform of Onpassive, for example, social media, the ONET, right? Imagine how much traffic that company is benefited from being part of OnPassive. And if you really think about that, we can understand why our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh, said OnPassive is the traffic. We are the traffic, right? Just think about that. How much that company, just using ONET, one of the free product of OnPassive, how much of that company benefited from the entire community of OnPassive? We are the traffic.
All I know, Julie, is that on passive will blow our mind. That's
That's
what
it,
we know.
everyone. Yeah, let's wrap it up with that. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Have a blessed day and continue to stay close. All right. Take care. Thank you, Michael.
Bye, everyone. You're welcome.